So yeah, Andre was in pain. He was worried about Dani. The same could not be said of Dani worried about Andre today at all. What is up, fellow Beyond the Gates viewers? Hell of an episode today. Lots of action, lots of drama, lots of trauma. The first time in a long while, I feel like we have a lot of soapiness happening on this show. People being injured. Still another episode to come where I think there will be more aftermath, at least. Still crossing over with The Young and the Restless. In fact, The Young and the Restless was our cliffhanger today, which I'm actually surprised by, but I guess they had to kind of make the crossover a little more significant. Let's get into the destruction of today's episode. We started where we left off yesterday, which was with Martin announcing that there's a tornado watch, and then the lights go out, and then the tornado hits, and we see lots of wind happening. Apparently a tree went through the wall, which played a big part of today's episode, as Martin was trying to keep people calm, and Vernon grabbed Anita to get her out of the way. They found a safer place. Ted seemed to want to leave Shanice to help Nicole. There was little nuggets here throughout the episode that was actually some good storyline related work. Early in the episode, Isaiah and Tomas were looking for Eva and Kat, who did happen to be together, which we will get to. Of course, Leslie took cover with Anita and Vernon. I'm sure they didn't like that happening. They were definitely trying to write Leslie today as wanting to be helpful, because after the tornado hit and went away, she was tending to Anita's scraped knee. And we also saw at the beginning that there was a chandelier dangling that would play a part in today's ending. But even though Leslie was kind of with Anita helping her scrape, Anita was trying to rally people to gather the people that work for the hospital so that they can attend to victims that are injured. And then Leslie was talking to Anita about Eva at one point. We'll get back to it because my notes are all over the place today, so you'll have to bear with me. Our first big deal of the day was that Andre was hurt pretty damn bad, I would say. He looked like he was impaled. I don't know if it was his legs exactly, but it was something with him. He was messed up. And at least later in the episode, he was able to sit up. I mean, I was hoping we weren't going to get a Derek-like storyline for Andre where he couldn't walk, because they just did that last year. Jack and Diane from The Young and the Restless decided to play hero with Chelsea to go look for other victims to see if there is a way out, but the exits end up being blocked on both ends. We also had Jacob at the police station today when Elon came in to talk about a tornado actually touching ground, and it was by the country club. So of course Jacob is fretting because that's where his family is, at least Naomi and that side of the family. But we'll get back to that too, because like I said, my notes are all over the place today. So yeah, Andre was in pain. He was worried about Dani. The same could not be said of Dani worried about Andre today at all. But Andre was definitely worried about her, telling people that Dani is upstairs with Ashley. Shanice was tending to Andre. Shanice was doing a really good job of tending to hurt people today. You know, Nurse Ashley was there too. Not helpful whatsoever, but thankful, everyone should be thankful that Shanice was there. Chelsea was, of course, shocked to learn that Eva and Kat might be together, and how that could be bad news if they're stuck together somewhere, which they were. Naomi and Ashley were upstairs looking out the window, seeing that the tree fell into the wall. Naomi, of course, worried about Jacob, wants to leave and find him, make sure he's okay. But they made their way downstairs. That's when Ashley saw that Anastasia was like in shock or something, just sitting there staring. I guess maybe they were trying to make us feel sorry for Anastasia. I think what they were trying to do was to show us that, look, Ashley's the bigger person, because in the episode before, Anastasia was being so mean and so cruel to poor little Ashley, but Ashley's the bigger person and wanted to try and help Anastasia today. What Ashley should have been doing was helping more of the hurt victims like Shanice was doing, instead of being worried about Anastasia. So they were in separate parts of the building because, some people took cover elsewhere. Nicole and Anita end up talking on walkie-talkie. Andre was sitting up at this point, still worried about Dani. Andre and Ashley also ended up talking on walkie-talkie because Ashley knows that he's concerned about Dani right now. Ashley didn't know where Dani was, even though she was last with Dani. I don't know why Ashley didn't think about the elevator, but I don't know if Ashley thinks at this point with the way that they write her. But they made a big deal today to make it be known that Andre was very, very worried about Dani and really, really cares about her. Let's see what else I got in my notes. So yeah, Smitty didn't know where Martin was after the whole destruction of the tornado hit at the beginning of the episode. A very intense opening today with the tornado hitting. Thought it was really well done. Well, it was announced that someone was under the tree, and of course Jack and others tried to help pull up the tree, calling Smitty for help too. I like that Jack Abbott was playing hero. No idea where supervillain Victor was. I know Eric Braeden is old, so probably couldn't be a part of these action scenes. But yeah, maybe he just left back to Genoa City somehow in his helicopter and has a super helicopter and was able to get through the tornado. I don't know. But Jack Abbott, the hero, he's always been the bigger character to me as far as the Young and the Restless characters go. But of course, it turned out to be Martin under the tree, and both Smitty and Nicole break down about that. Bad irony for Martin. This is his event, and he's the one that ends up smashed under a tree. So he is another victim. I thought Smitty did a good job towards the end trying to get an unconscious Martin to squeeze his hand, but the man's unconscious, so that wasn't going to happen. But yeah, Martin, a possible victim. Who I'm going to talk about next are victims of their own demise. And that is Bill and Dani trapped in the elevator together. It shakes around when the tornado first hits. Luckily doesn't fall for them, but the power is out and Dani is panicked, pressing buttons, but obviously the buttons are not working. Although there was more light in this elevator than anywhere in other scenes today where it was too dark and you couldn't always see what was happening. Bill was trying to get Dani to not panic, saying they need to wait for help, but she says that he never waits for help. He never has in his life. Dani's plan was to get to the hatch at the top and crawl on top of the elevator, which Bill thought was a bad idea because she could just get hurt that way. But Dani's panicking because she wants to get to her children, wants to see if they're okay. Didn't hear her mention Andre. I could have missed it because I was doing the watch along, taking a lot of notes. But to me, it didn't seem like Dani thought about Andre at all in today's episode. Meanwhile, he was just so worried about her. But Bill tries to calm Dani down from panicking, and Dani does end up being soothed by Bill being calm and upset why that works, how his calmness makes her calm. But they talk about how this is not their first tornado. I guess there was one on the way years ago when they were outside and Bill got them to safety or something. But Dani still wants to do her idea and get to the top latch, tells him to get on his knees, which I think is when they started to build the sexual tension of this scene, or start to. But they continued to do a lot of flirting after that because they got up to the hatch and Dani got electrocuted. They fell both on the ground. They stare at each other, and then they started making out hardcore in the elevator. And look, I know people are going to be upset with Dani, and they should be. And I know people are going to feel sorry for Andre, and they should. He's definitely the baby face still in this scenario. Bill and Dani are the villains, especially since Dani just had all those memories about the time when Bill was cheating on her and what a terrible time it was. And now she's about to cheat hardcore on Andre. I don't think it's going to be a continued affair. If it is, then people are going to hate on Dani even more, and deservedly so. But I'm happy to see some soapiness here. I've been waiting for the moment where Bill and Dani hook up. I think I've been calling this for many, many, many months now, that it was inevitable that they would at least hook up, and Andre's going to get hurt in it all. And I think that's what we are embarking on. I thought they did a good job today. It wasn't the best explanation as to why Dani would give in to Bill in the elevator, though, but I'll still take it. It was soapy enough. Eva ended up taking Kat into like a boiler room, I want to say, thinking it would get them to safety. But what happened at the beginning was like a hot water pipe or something fell or burst, and Kat was panicking. There's steam coming up. Eva is saying she's not feeling right, but Kat's too busy panicking to care or thinking that Eva's faking it. We didn't get a lot of their scenes today. We saw it at the beginning, and then we really didn't see them again until towards the end when Kat was thinking Eva was faking it. At this point, Isaiah and Leslie learn that Eva is not with each other. Isaiah thought Eva was with Leslie. Leslie thought Eva was with Isaiah, but they ran into each other. Isaiah still went looking for Eva, still couldn't find her. So Leslie started feeling sorry for herself, like she does, while still talking to Anita, asking if she is now reaping what she has sowed. And Anita says, no, it has nothing to do with that. That's not how God works. The tornado is not Leslie being punished. I guess this was the show's way of telling us that Leslie is worried about Eva, but in Leslie fashion, she made it about herself here. But back into the boiler room, Eva is trying to tell Kat that she's hurt. Kat's being her typical Kat self when it comes to Eva, not believing her, thinks Eva's just being lazy, not trying to help her find a way out, thinks Eva's playing the victim like always. But then Eva started to cough up blood, and it was kind of a lot of blood. I'm glad the soap opera is giving us blood, because General Hospital likes to give us blood. Kat was now panicked, obviously, seeing Eva coughing up blood. So Kat's yelling for help. They seem to be found, but Eva goes unconscious at the end as they are still trapped in the room together. Lots of possibilities here about what they could do with Eva needing blood. Could she really be Ted's? Will Kat have to donate blood to Eva? Could she and Kat be like blood sisters and both be Nicole's? Could we find out that Eva is Nicole's and maybe Kat's not? That's Kat's big story, perhaps, that was predicted a long time ago, that there was a switch at birth. Many possibilities. I'm actually kind of excited to see where they go. For the first time in a long time, they have the Kat and Eva stuff going better. Like I said at the beginning, Jacob was at the police station, wanted to head out. Elon wanted to call and see where the best path was first, because trees are down everywhere. Jacob ends up heading out. But then the lights go out of the police station again. Elon tries to walkie Jacob. We actually got some outdoor scenes with Jacob as the storm is still hitting, because he can't get through the way to the country club. I don't know if that means something might happen to Jacob. I would just be surprised, though, if it did, because, like, how do we not kill Jacob off in the Impaler storyline, but do in a random tornado? I don't know. And then Hayley and Kyle Abbott got trapped together after their tornado. They're in a closet together. She says that he saved her life. Kyle is trying to pound on the door, seeing if someone will hear them. Then he sees there's a shard of glass in her hair, wipes it away. She also runs her hand through his hair. And so, of course, these two end up kissing. And I thought they actually had chemistry. I mean, they're on two separate shows, so nothing's going to happen between them. But Hayley actually surprised me when she apologized for the kiss, saying she is sorry. Kyle said he is not. She then admitted to being married to an older man. I liked that Hayley was making it known that Bill is just so old, and Hayley just looking for some fun. But then Hayley put on some annoying house music from her phone, thinking maybe someone will hear that and get them out. They end up dancing, kind of having a good time together. Hayley was enjoying herself with Kyle, and Hayley has been entertaining me these past two episodes with Kyle Abbott. But it does seem like they were found towards the end. And then our cliffhanger was the chandelier that had been swinging since the beginning is going to fall. It's surprisingly Ashley Abbott who is under the chandelier. They still haven't found Victor or Kyle. Obviously, Kyle is with Hayley in the closet. I don't know where Victor is. I'm assuming someone's going to save Hayley. I'm assuming nobody's going to get hurt by the chandelier. Or either that's going to happen, nobody's going to get hurt, because they're not going to hurt someone from The Young and the Restless unless they're going to tie it into The Young and the Restless. But I don't think Josh Griffith is doing that. So I'm assuming either nothing's going to happen, someone's going to save her, or someone's going to push her out of the way and it's going to hit them. But I don't know who that would be. I don't know. At least we got a cliffhanger, though. Overall, lots of action. Very good episode. Hope tomorrow is equally as good, and I think it could be, because there's still a lot going on. There's still a lot of lives hanging in the balance, which is a good thing to have when you have a big event like this. So far, so good with this tornado crossover event between Beyond the Gates and Young and the Restless.